Welcome back to another rebuild on Madden 23, and today we're going to be doing one of the Washington Commanders, a team that, honestly, no one really talks about. I'm trying to think of all the teams in the league right now, and are they the least talked about team? I kind of feel like they are. They're definitely up there, but I will say it doesn't help considering the kind of offseason they had where they didn't really add any, I wouldn't say flashy names, who cares about flashy names, but they didn't really add a whole lot to the offense, which, of course, technically is their big issue. It seems like their defense has always been at least a top 10, at worst, maybe top 15 defense. I mean, even when, Heineke and company almost beat Brady. But it's a defense that obviously has some names that you don't know the answer to, whereas, Chase Young could be traded. Hasn't really been the guy that early on I felt like he was going to be. Jeromepkr just got a big contract, which maybe a little overpaid in fairness. Jonathan Allen's obviously a great player. Sweat had his best season, I believe. Fuller was pretty solid. The safeties, I wouldn't say came out of nowhere, but they all of a sudden have really good safeties. Jamin Davis was better, but when you consider how bad his rookie year was, it was pretty much impossible to be any worse. Cody Barton, he's a decent addition. He's one of those guys where it's like, you could spend a first-round pick, or you could just grab Barton, and he'll be just good enough at the position. I don't think after the Jamin Davis pick that they're going to do that again. Jahan Dotson, super fun route runner. McLaurin, do-it-all, great player. Scary Terry for a reason. Curtis Samuel looking very different in that photo. Hasn't quite worked out. Obviously, his first year on the team was a lot worse because he just didn't play because of injury, and this latest one was definitely better. And then Dyami Brown, can't really remember a whole lot about him. Like, has he been playing? He's been injured? I don't even know. Logan Thomas is obviously something to be said about a guy that, plays a different position, kind of does well at it, but it's been some seasons now since that, kind of breakout season as a tight end. Robinson's fun to watch. Running back, running game in general, not a super problem. But this is where the problems lie. The offensive line, not a great unit. Tackle, technically, is Daniels a tackle? That's the way that he was read out in the draft. Is that what they see him as? I just feel like they absolutely need a guard right now, so why wouldn't I play him there? And then Sam Howell, I mean, it was basically a preseason game when he came in and played for them, but he liked a little bit, but there was also a lot of confidence issues. You could just tell by the way that he wasn't zipping the ball. There was a lot of inaccuracies, some bad decisions. It was, I don't know. It was just basically one of those incomplete performances. And then Jacoby Brissett, who obviously can compete for the job, but from what I've heard, Sam Howell is the number one guy as of this moment. But yeah, I mean, just a weird team in the offseason where you would think they would have built up that offensive line a little bit, where, they drafted a couple of guys in like the third and the fourth round, but maybe a first rounder, second rounder, instead of going for cornerback, which I guess was a need, but like I said, I feel like this defense has always been good. Martin technically should probably be a corner. I just don't have a need for him there right now, so I guess keeping him at free safety makes the most sense, even though he probably could be a better nickel corner. But in general, as far as a Madden rebuild goes, we'll see how Howell turns out. I think we did a rebuild, earlier in the Madden cycle with the Commanders, and he did pretty well. I can't remember exactly the extent, but I thought he was at least like some sort of 80 overall. I don't know if that's going to happen here, but obviously the main focus is that offense. Whether Chase Young's the guy or not in real life, even if he wasn't the guy in game, still far from the need, right? Like, you replace Hudson, maybe Barton, and you're cooked. I mean, in a good way. You're not cooked in a bad way. But offensively, you could use a quarterback. Kind of need a running back, as Brian Robinson, I think, is fine in real life, but in game, I don't know how well he's going to play. Not the fastest guy, and EA has their types. And then you could basically replace the whole offensive line. I probably wouldn't replace Cosme, but you could, and then tight end. But this is a team that's a lower overall team that, once again, in my opinion, is under the radar. But absolutely, if they got some decent quarterback play, could compete sneakily, even though it's a very tough division. Just like competing for sub numbers on YouTube's a tough competition. Leave a like and subscribe, I think. I don't know what that means. Also, I know this was probably supposed to be a Saints rebuild, but I was like, you know what? Saints I kind of did a rebuild for more recently than the Commanders. I think, actually. I don't even know. But let's just do a Commanders, then it'll be the Saints. So it's just like the rebuild for the Packers. It was the Buccaneers that I did it first, even though it was the Packers that won. Basically, I'm putting everyone in their place. Your vote won. I don't care. I do what I want. Please, just let me, do this rebuild. But yeah, tomorrow will be a second channel video of Jedi Survivor, Star Wars on PK Replays, so maybe check that out. But overall, we are now in full Commanders mode. Still not sure how I feel about the name. Also, we probably should address the actual rookie class instead of just like pretending we didn't draft it. 47 trucking. Who the hell? Is this guy the right one? Did they draft someone that I wasn't aware of? All right, so I'm still going to get questions about which roster this is. Just find one with as many prospects done as possible and then maybe edit them yourself. That's kind of the big issue, is just finding rosters that are even close to complete. This one apparently had all 7 rounds. I still had to add, I think, 1 player, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Rodriguez a little bit better here. Built like this, more like Robinson, I don't even know, was it like Tariq Cohen was what he was aiming for before? I don't even know, but the offensive line, Daniels. I don't know a whole lot about the offensive linemen from the class, I'll be honest with you. Apparently, this guy doesn't either. He's just like, screw it, 72 across the board. Why not? Why not? I don't know. So I apologize there, but yeah, there's that. And then Ricky Stromberg. This dude is inspired. I kind of feel, though, because like I could not imagine doing all these freaking names and all that and whatnot. But take a look at Mr. Forbes. Hopefully the more known names, are a little 160. I know he was small, but is he really 166? That would be undraftable, no? 181. Yeah, I knew he was on the smaller side, but not that small. Yeah, maybe don't use this class, but it is what it is. We're here. Although apparently he actually weighed 166 at the combine, so okay, let's get crazy with it. And then we do have Henry, but he's 24, so who really cares? And then Martin is as follows. Like I said, probably should be playing corner, but we just don't really have that need, so there's that. Probably a little bit better than he should be, but it is what it is. He's there. Now the rookies. Let's get on to, hopefully, an okay offensive performance on the season. I don't know what this Commanders playbook and all that, the scheme does, because I don't really pay attention to the Commanders too much. I don't usually see them compete, though, so I would imagine that plays a decent factor into the idea that it's not a very good playbook, but we'll see. See if we want to build on it or completely replace it. But I obviously like to try to keep it as base as possible, so it's not just like the Kansas City Commanders, the Atlanta Commanders, the Dallas Commanders, whatever, the same freaking playbooks every time. But let's move on. Obviously, this is a team that could compete for a top 5, top 10 draft pick in theory. So if that is kind of the way that this team is going, I might try to find a real-life 2024 class, so we can maybe have a chance at some real-life quarterbacks. But at the same time, I don't know if it's going to matter, because obviously those ratings are going to be really bad. I kind of rather just go CPU because it's more personalized that way, and in general, you could just argue, well, if we draft the 3rd best quarterback in that class, count that for real life, basically. Just change their names in your mind. And a couple of breakouts. Finally, we get one that matters. Derek Forrest, young but normal development rate. Now, star dev with 20k XP. Yeah, this is not an ideal season. 65 mil. I believe Cody Barton got more than a 1-year deal, right? I think it was like a 3-year. It was pretty cheap. I can't remember fully, but I'll have to take a look. Also, don't know what Jacoby Brissett's contract was, but no one really crazy to sign. That's all that kind of matters. It actually was a 1-year deal for Cody Barton. At 25 years old, I'm down to do like a 3-year 24, which honestly, the market for linebackers has been not great. So that's actually probably kind of on the high end, to be honest. Headed to the playoffs, and it was not a good season, although if you're in the process of rebuilding, we technically are video-wise, it's a good one. 3-14, which, that's got to be top 5, maybe number 1 even. And it is. It is the first pick overall. And I'll show you guys we didn't force any losses. I actually changed the scheme to try and help this team win. I figured we're not really a good team for passing the ball, so I would just go with the Colts scheme because they were the best rushing team in the league. At the time of like week 9, we were a team that sucked at passing, and we were a team that really was not good at running. We're like 3.6 yards per carry. This is exactly what the Colts scheme is, so I just stole it, at least offensively. Defensively, I didn't change because I didn't actually pay attention to how well they were playing. But let's take a look at the numbers, see if the rushing numbers at least improved. Quarterbacking kind of improved. I think mid-season it was like 1,800 yards, 9 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Rushing still ended up with 3.6, which is really disappointing. Receivers were pretty bad outside of Jahan Dotson. Offensive line was pretty bad. Pass rush, Chase Young 13.5 is good. Allen's decent. Payne's okay because he's more of a run defender. And then Sweat was terrible. Jamin Davis with 3 interceptions. Could get a dev up because of the tackles, but there wasn't a whole lot of like good games really or good seasons out of our players. Apparently, Antonio Gibson was the kick returner, and he got a touchdown, which is actually pretty impressive. I've seen a lot of actual good kick return, punt return guys with their ratings not get one throughout the whole rebuild, so fair enough. Trevor Lawrence, the MVP of the league, apparently. And any award wins, you got some real rookies winning Rookie of the Year, which is pretty cool, as the Lions seem to have hit the jackpot. Of course, looking at the yards, 32nd on offense, 20th on defense, which isn't much better. 32nd in points scored, and points allowed 17. So we were literally the worst offense in the entire league. How is that even possible to be that bad? Like, you don't at least get up 31st in points or something? I don't even know. Panthers, who've done pretty well in sim lately, going against the Chiefs, who always do well in sim. And the winner being the Chiefs. Not really a shocker, but still, Panthers giving them a run every single season, it seems, especially year 1. All right, any dev ups? The only one I could think of would have been maybe Jahan Dotson, but obviously that did not happen. No one else across the board. Sam Howell's -4 because of his morale. He probably also dropped in throw power because the game loves the... I don't understand the thought process there. I'll let all the other ratings slide because, players that play bad do lose that. But the one thing that kind of, makes me want to keep Howell as the starter is his throw power. So him losing 2 throw power while still in the prime of his life and NFL career is just stupid. I don't know. Once again, the coding decisions, and it's not even just been this game. Other games I've played recently, I just don't understand the decision making. I really just don't. Why would a guy in his prime lose something like throw power just because he had a bad season? Why? Like, it has to be injury based. There's no other way around it. Just the way it is. Another one, stadium abilities. There's a lot of stupid stadium abilities. While Dancer might not be the best player in the world, he's got one of the better looking photos. Don't know what it is about him. He just kind of looks like, I don't know, it just looks like a different photo to everyone else's, right? I don't know if that's good, though, to be fair. And then the only dev up we did have, though, is Chase Young. No dev up for Barton, which is an L, and then no dev up for Jamin Davis. I mean, if he can't get a dev up on 145 tackles, 3 interceptions, he's never getting a dev up, apparently. But yeah, we know what we need to replace. Kind of quarterback, definitely offensive line. We'll see if we can do any of that here in this offseason where we have the first overall pick and quite a bit of money. 78 mil. Zeke is there. Michael Thomas is there. Josh Allen is there. Like I said, offensive line is kind of the main concern. And a quarterback wouldn't hurt, but I don't imagine we're going to find a starting quarterback here. Backups at best, but Sam Howell kind of seems to be a backup at best at this rate, so there's really no point in trying to find a new one. Any offensive lineman at all? Gesicki would be an interesting name. Kind of wonder how much it would cost to get him. Like, can I lowball him at all? Like, can I do like a 2-year 18? Like, what is that comparable? Okay, so teams are actually offering him like legit money. So we're gonna have to try to find a maybe athletic tight end in free agency. Is he in? Nice. Steele is in free agency a lot, and I kind of want him. 3 or 27. I kind of offer that a lot, and usually don't get him, so we'll see. Move him around if I have to. Mute, very strong, but not the greatest. We could probably just get a rookie. And then McGovern wouldn't be terrible. Anyone else? I guess linebacker would be what we need the most as of a defender. And I'm not really seeing a whole lot of great players here that are like young and developable, as once again, we are still a team that is kind of developing. Devin Bush, what was his contract? I think it was a 1 year 5. 1 year 3.5, but he's asking for like multiple years at a pretty high rate. How does that compare? Yeah, you can have him, Denver. You can have him. And we don't get Steele. Nice. They ended up, he ended up signing a 3-year 24. We offered him a 3-year 27, so it's not much different. And we're kind of the worst team in the league, so do you really blame him? Probably not. All right, so we have pick 1 overall. Obviously, there is a quarterback there. I don't know if he's worth taking, but what I will tell you is there's only really one other option, if not him, and that's Brown. As Spencer McDonald is 23, and I really don't want to spend, my pick on a 23-year-old. Tevin Reedy, I want to take one more look at with that elite throw power, pretty good athleticism. A bunch of really good throwing ratings. Do you take your franchise quarterback at 1, or do you trade down and hope to grab more value as we still need a whole offensive line? I think I'm going to be going with the quarterback, Tevin Reedy, 6'4", 21 years old. Welcome to the squad. And we drafted a normal development trait quarterback at pick 1 overall. Fun. And the best part is, it's probably going to be no teams taking quarterback anyways. So glad we reached on a normal dev, probably bust player. But it is now time to move on to the first pick in the second round. I'm just hoping the guy's at least a 74, 75 overall. Maybe he's one of those like 78, 79 overall, just normal dev guys. I don't know. No, our quarterback's gone. I don't know if I have any players here. I do have some 2 to 3s, but 2 to 3 is usually like kind of a later pick, so I probably would rather trade down, get some more picks. I definitely want a linebacker, and we definitely need at least 2 linemen, probably 3. Everyone else is probably expendable on this this rookie list. Be nice to get to like 18 here if we can. Don't know what that would really gain me, though. I'm going to take 43 and 107 from the Bears, which is not too far back. It's like 10 spots back. It's not a great draft pick trade anyways, but it's something. We add an extra 4th. It's better than not adding that. We're going to make another move down to 51 this time, gaining 115 and a 7th round pick, which they take Camarillo, who looks really good. But technically, not a positional need. Tackle, we need all the linemen. That right guard Van Dyke looks solid, though. Do I want to risk him any further? Taylor's there, too. Yeah, I'll go. Well, whatever. We're just going to do the next pick. And if Van Dyke's there at 19, I'll take him, but there's a good chance he won't be, so whoops. But let's take a look. And the tight end's still there, who I kind of need to take. And the guard's still there, Van Dyke. Josh Van Dyke, 6'2", 21 years old. Little small, decent athleticism, though, so we're going to hope and thankfully get a hidden development trait player. As the quarterback sure as hell wasn't one. And then the next pick, there was literally only 2 decent tight ends. One of them was like a first-round player, and the other one was this guy, who is definitely not that great, but 6'6", decent key ratings, great speed, but marginal excel. He's a really weird-looking player, but I've got to take the chance on him because all of our current tight ends are either really old and or bad dev, which this guy's not one of them. Hidden development trait, nice. 84 speed, 84 excel, 86 agility. At his age, I would have absolutely just dealt with normal dev, would have hoped that he would have developed, but thankfully didn't need to. We're going to trade the Dolphins Wiley and 115 for 73. And with that pick, we are going to be taking a linebacker. Jimmy Montgomery was probably my number 1 linebacker. The only kind of I think we actually do have this middle linebacker, DeBose, but I don't like him as much as Stoudemire, so Stoudemire is going to be my choice. And actually, is he? Actually, he might not be. Maybe I shouldn't have jumped the gun because DeBose looks better. I'm going to take DeBose, Christopher DeBose. Normal development trait. See if the other guy's hidden, but it'd be what it be. And then we had a lineman named Otis Taylor that just went, so I will need to trade up for Mr. McLeod. We trade a 5th this year and a 6th next year to move up 20 spots with the Ravens, which will give us another offensive lineman in Mr. McLeod, who looked decent, obviously kind of raw. I think Taylor we knew a little bit more about, but once again, waiting and finding out has those benefits and those negatives. Another strong guy with hidden development traits similar to the guard we just grabbed a little bit ago. And honestly, with that being said, kind of needing one more lineman, I might just make this final trade up and see if we land 3 linemen that are hidden. We trade a 4th this, 5th next, and a 6th this for 78. And with that pick, we're going to take the final lineman we had on our list, Mr. Keene, who definitely looked like the worst, but did have some redeeming qualities, I suppose. 21 years old, 6'3", and another hidden development trait. I mean, took the L on the quarterback, but we did take the dub on lineman, thankfully. And I suppose we'll take an A run block, A lead block fullback, James Mason, who actually looks pretty decent based on those key ratings. Don't know what he actually is, but draft finished. I don't know how to feel about it. So how much did we sell? And 75 over. Okay, I can live with it. Guard's pretty good overall. Tight end's really low. Linebacker's kind of a waste. McLeod, O-line's decent. Fullback 75 overall. Mr. Tevin Reedy, we obviously have to take a look at him compared to Brown. And even the 23-year-old, I suppose. But 82 deep is fine. 85 short is really good. Throw power is great. 73 medium's lackluster, but 88 throw on the run. If you could change that agility with the speed, that would make him a very good quarterback. Ideal sense of pressure. Doesn't matter here in the rebuild, but I am curious to see what his throw style is, which it is Slinger 8. I mean, so in fairness to him, even though he's normal, he is about as good of a normal as you could physically get. Offensive line, weird kind of build, because normally it's like one or the other, but he's kind of like good at this, bad at that, and it's like back and forth. Superstar, okay. What's his size? 6'2", kind of built to play center more than anyone, but we're going to keep him there. Mr. Dalton Whitlock, 6'6". Short route's good, medium's iffy, deep route's terrible. Catching is good. Spec and catching traffic are decent enough. Let's take a look at that hidden dev. B superstar. I've seen a lot of guys kind of looking similar like him that are a superstar, but he is not one of them, sadly. Let's give him something in the 80s, obviously. Number 80, I guess. I don't really know. This didn't really give us many options. McLeod, another hidden development trait lineman, probably our left guard, I think. I don't know. He looks decent, I guess. Let's put him at left guard and take a look at what his dev is. Maybe we landed 3 superstars. Who knows? Not 3, but 2 out of 3 wouldn't be bad. Mr. Keene, who is the lowest overall, I guess the center, since he's the lowest overall, only a 70 overall, but if he's, hidden development trade, offensive lineman, that's as good as you can get. And another superstar. Okay, I guess you have a superstar center. 2 superstars, almost didn't even grab this guy. Last second, made a good decision. And, outside of the quarterback, not a bad, considering what we needed, draft, right? Like, we really needed a group of linemen, which 2 out of 3 were superstar. Would have been nice to get another linebacker. And then, of course, the quarterback not being hidden kind of sucks. But let's take a look at the rest of these players, specifically these quarterbacks. The next QB that went was all the way at 18, and the 23-year-old McDonald, who is hidden development trait. Similar to our guy in the sense that he has the same throw power and is lacking at one of the ratings. His is short, whereas ours guy was medium. Dev for McDonald is superstar. So obviously, in this case, the 23-year-old absolutely was better than the guy we took. And then Mr. Brown, also hidden development trait, more balanced than our guy, is 1 year older in fairness, but let's take a look at what his dev is. I can live with star, but of the 3 options that we were seriously considering, he, aka our quarterback, was definitely the worst. And then this running back is interesting. He's got 90 juke move, but he's normal dev. Weird player, but kind of a bad decision. Not only could we have gained so much trading down from pick 1 overall, but he also just wasn't hidden. All right, season 2, but year 1 of the future, if you will, as Reedy is obviously the guy. Well, at least hopefully he is, because we took him 1 overall. A little bit of a disaster, but it is what it is. Yeah, we have some really good receivers. Whitlock hopefully can be him. Robinson we don't know about. In real life, plenty of potential. In game, playing like crap. As far as the rest goes, defense, maybe a new linebacker or two, but honestly, it looks set, right? Like, am I wrong in thinking this? It really comes down to how well Sweat plays, and then Chase Young. I didn't go with the fifth-year option because I just assumed he was on it in real life already, so if we want to keep him, which we probably do, we will have to pay him this season. And this is why you like DBs getting the breakout, because there's not a whole lot of things you need to upgrade on the DBs other than man and zone, and +5 to zone is busted. Not been a great season, but technically better than last year. Chase Young, fair enough. Kendall Fuller, fair enough. Curl, that's expensive. Sweat is expensive. We do have money, but this is going to be annoying. Rodriguez obviously shouldn't be here yet. We'll have to see. I want to see if everyone's, earning their keep. I'd imagine Chase Young is absolutely unreleasable, and he looks like he's on par for, last year's season, which is good enough. So I guess a guy that may not even be here in real life next year will be here for the rest of his career in-game. Kendall Fuller, once again, a better cornerback option than, we're probably going to find in free agency or the draft, so might as well keep him. Curl is questionable, because I'm not even sure, A, his zone coverage, smart, thought process there from me, and B, it is a safety. Didn't go up in zone there either. That is more questionable. And then, of course, Sweat. Don't know how he's playing. More importantly, that is a lot he's asking for when you consider the fact that it's going to cost more than that, because he obviously is red interest. Pretty good season, though. So 3 or 45, you could, but you could also get punched up in the nose because you're not re-signing, and that makes me sad. I do a 5-year 60 at best. Even that, in my opinion, is a little costly. And, okay, I think I'm going to let Cameron Curl go unless that interest joins up, it gets higher. I'm probably going to let him go, and then Montez Sweat. I mean, we have to draft something anyways, and we really don't have any. And obviously, you can't just keep everyone. I mean, it would be a great, fun team to have to be able to keep everyone, but money is the biggest derailer of a roster's talent. You also argue, can Dantzler just play safety? 79 overall with 85 zone? I mean, I'm just saying this team seems to have their interchangeable pieces. Or not. Forget what I said. So Cameron Dantzler is a 4-year, $20 million deal when he is at safety. So 5-year, 25. I've got my interests and financials in mind. This situation doesn't align with either. Well, I mean, I'm literally just looking at the screen here, and I'm giving you more than you're asking for. But sure, I suppose. We'll try again for Sweat. His number is increasing on its own anyways. 3 or 48. Can I really pay that kind of money? I guess for Sweat, once again for safety, I just don't think it's worth it. I gave him a 5-year 65 because I felt like we were losing too much, and he's my friend, and now, what? See, I should have stayed. I should have waited, because we could have gotten him on a 3-year 50, and instead we're going to have to probably tag him. Hopefully he's just having a bad season, and we just don't keep him at all. But, yikes, I knew that was going to happen, too, because we're like 6-6 now. Huge game. Two teams that are actually fighting for a playoff spot, and we steal it last second. I think we are the 7th seed right now. As you could see here, the Lions and the Saints, and apparently the Rams, were all competing, and the Giants, for that spot. We won. If we lost to the Lions, obviously, well, we wouldn't be in, and they might have been. Now, it probably doesn't matter because we're literally about to face off against the Eagles, who are going to absolutely smoke us, I imagine. But nice little comeback. Ran the Cincinnati playbook on offense as that Washington scheme looked like crap. The Colts not much better. And this is what the season looked like. Tevin Reedy with 5,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Hopefully that's good enough for rookie of the year, because obviously normal dev is a bastard. Brian Robinson just under 1,000 yards. Still yards per carry not great, but better than last season. 11 touchdowns we'll take. McLaurin way better. Dotson pretty good again. Samuel decent. Whitlock really good. Just the touchdowns are lacking. Receiving or offensive line, perfect pretty much considering it's Madden. Chase Young killed it. Allen was great. Sweat was decent. If the tag is under like 20-ish mil, probably re-signed or tagged, but if not, might try to find him, fight him in preseason or in preseason free agency, or find someone new. Payne was decent, I guess. Once again, not really a pass rusher. Forrest with 4 interceptions. Really pissed at Barton as he had a breakout chance. Didn't get it. Tevin Reedy didn't either, but kicker, Sly missed 3 kicks because of block, another 3 just because he missed, I did not re-sign him, and I would assume that's going to say the same. Going up against the league MVP. That's always fun. And Rookie of the Year, we absolutely take. Huge, huge win there. Was he on the list at all? He was not. And any other award wins we did not have, but we probably had some pretty close calls with the pass rush department. But the Eagles, 89 overall, we're an 86, so we're not that far off. We just don't have that good of an offense compared to them, so we'll see what happens. Hey, not a bad upgrade after getting a contract. 1 to speed, 1 to zone coverage, which was at 88 speed now, and I think it also jumped his zone to his number 1 thing, so he should be able to start getting zone upgrades. I think, honestly, because of the way the game is built, I might start allowing myself to change ratings just so that's their thing, that upgrade. So, if they're 1 short of getting zone and they're at run stopper, nice upgrade, I think. I would lower, I don't know, like a little bit of play rack and then raise something else to get him that zone. So he's not really gaining anything. It would just be that, they're focusing on the right thing. But don't know if I can really be bothered doing that either, because that's still just as much effort almost as just upgrading them manually, which I only upgrade manually if something like, that trench boost comes up, just to try and get them a little boost in the right direction. As you can see, not a power blocker, but this will at least, get those numbers up slightly. Also, what's the chances of, catching Charles Leno right on an upgrade? And unless they don't upgrade every week, do they upgrade, every 4 weeks or something? I don't know, but, 42k XP, that's, over a season's worth of XP. Let's see it. Can we beat our division rivals? The Jets were able to beat the Chiefs, so if that can happen, we obviously have a chance here, especially in the divisional game where really anything can happen. And they get 3 to start. We get nothing. They get nothing. That's okay, I guess. This is in our favor. 3-all. This type of game is definitely in our favor because we do not have a great offense. So if we can keep the score low, we might have a chance. 24-10. 1 score would have been it. 24-10 still, and we're really going to let the Eagles come back. We aren't. Our defense carried. How did our defense stop them? I don't even know. Let's take a look at the numbers, though. Reedy was decent, but obviously not as good as Hurts, but still won the game. Swift was terrible. Rushing in general, not great, but okay enough for us. Dotson did well. Whitlock was pretty good. Whitlock's been pretty good this rookie season of his. Allen was great. They still just did better in general. Slay with a pick. Zerline missed a field goal. Don't know how much that played a factor, but defense, they held on, and they won the game because of it. All right, to the divisional round. Be a little early for a Super Bowl win, but I would take it, I guess. Going against the Panthers, 84 overall versus our 86 overall. Panthers have already been in a Super Bowl. Will they do it again, or will it be our turn to shine? I definitely wouldn't bet on us winning, but you never know. Of course, the Bills taking down the Jets. I mean, if the Jets can beat the Chiefs, you would have thought it was their time, but I guess not. Means nothing. 7-0, 7-7, 10-7, 10-14. It's a close battle. 17-17 at half, up by 7. This is what the score finished last time. Not going to happen this time. 31-24, 38-24. Defense playing a little bit worse than last game, but did enough. And the offense waking up, putting up 38 points, sending us to the championship round. Reedy, 4 touchdowns. Really good performance from Reedy. That is amazing. I think he would have only done enough to get a dev up to star, but at least he's, going up to star. That's all I can ask for. Was that a defensive play for Turner? I know he threw a pick, but really? Okay. I guess maybe a special teamer as well. And speaking of, I think he must have got a tackle or something, because look at him go. Vertical zone, or vertical threat, not vertical zone. Decent upgrade, actually, and then Tony's just a super backup. Let's go. Conference round. Who would this be? The Cowboys, maybe? Packers, perhaps? It is the Cowboys. All right, another division rival game. 2 out of 3 so far in this playoffs. Can we win it? Can we go to the Super Bowl? It's still a great start. Year 2 championship round for the Commanders. Not bad. Obviously, like I said, they do have a lot of talented players. Just that quarterback spot, the offense in general. Question marks there, and still was a question mark this season, but at least they've held their own. I mean, they've put up a lot of points, kept each game close, and won, obviously. 21-14, not a good start compared to the other games. And we do get a field goal, which is something. Down by 4. Defense is doing okay. Offense has got to pick it up. Nice. 24 all. 24-27, and we are up by 4 right at the end of the game. Does Dallas have the clutch gene? They kind of look like they do, and they will with 47 seconds left. Offense moves. The problem is they're not going to stop the clock, right? So I'll come in, call a timeout, and then we'll see if the AI wants to continue the drive. I might have to come back in again. The clock's still probably going to zoom. Okay, incomplete. Like 2 incomplete passes. It took, how many seconds was that? Like, was it 20 for 2? Math? What are we doing out here? And we kind of force it to Jahan, who holds on all the way to the 23. I kind of want the clock to go so I can make it the last play. 40-yard field goal, Joey Sly. Chance to keep this game alive, send it to overtime. I mean, he's got to know if he misses this that his Washington career is over, which now I'm starting to think he wants to miss this on purpose. Hits it. I mean, if we win this game, I kind of have to pay him, no? Although it's not going to matter. Wait, what just happened? What? We fumbled on a punt. So they blocked the punt is what EA is telling me right now. Okay, I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. Well, that's that. What a lackluster finish. Reedy, we really didn't deserve to win, though. 3 interceptions from Reedy. That is disastrous. This defense is, coverage-wise, not good enough to be throwing that many picks. Trayvon Diggs is not really the pickmeister anymore. Kind of just happens. You know, you have a crazy pick season, then you kind of drop off a bit. He's actually played better in coverage, though, which has probably led to less interceptions, ironically enough. Play better, get less interceptions. It's just the way of the game. But it's a great season, obviously. Once again, I'll show you guys the scheme, just in case you wanted to follow it. You're doing your own rebuild. I don't know, but this is what we're rocking with. I think, at least for this season, I actually liked it. Didn't quite get the numbers we wanted on offense, but still a young offense, especially that offensive line, and we had a great season. We barely lost to the Dallas Cowboys, who EA has a literal love fest for in-game, so I mean, you're basically going against God themselves at this point in Madden Sim universe. The Bills versus the Cowboys. Hoping for the Bills, obviously, and it does not happen. So, in theory, the silver lining is we lost to the Super Bowl champions. The non-silver lining is that Super Bowl champion is our division rival and maybe the most hated team in the NFL. All right, DevOps, obviously, Reedy was going to go up, so he's an 80 overall star, which I suppose he had a pretty good season. He's worth the first pick overall. He played pretty well. Wow, what a bad upgrade. Stepped into the role, killed it. And then defensively, we should have some, right? It's a pretty good season. Sweat didn't go up, not shocking. I guess, to be fair, a lot of the guys that did well were already better than superstars. So, yeah, we need a new linebacker, too. Derek Forrest going to superstar. He's crazy good. 88 overall. I know he started off as like a super young, like 80, I think 81 overall, but he's killing it. He's better than Curl, which is why, I was kind of thinking, should we have re-signed him? I don't know. What's that progression thing? I don't even know, but probably a bad decision to re-sign him, to be honest. 5 years, 65, but it is what it is. We've seen safeties get 20 per, so it's less than that number, I guess. Let's go to free agency, see what we can add. I'm not really sure. Edge? I guess maybe a more consistent edge than Sweat would be very hard to beat this offense or this defense, right? Rookie quarterback, we should have money for some seasons, 90-some mil. Don't want to lose Sweat, but 25 is definitely too much in my opinion. Obviously, Dantzler is going to be crazy money. Good kick from Sly, but I think we move on from him as well. It just had too bad of a season. Maybe we'll find another generational kicker. Or just sign someone in free agency that's a little bit more proven. Let's see it. We have some money. Tristan Wirfs not going to be a free agent player. Dexter Lawrence, there's no chance of. Winfield, don't need him. Wide receiver, no. Kenny Moore, maybe, but that's just not really a position of need. Sweat is really the best player here, and he's a guy that we already had, so we'll say we didn't wait, but if we did wait, we would have had him for something like this, but let's see what we can actually get him for now. The Colts trying to give us a run for our money. We were willing to pay him damn near 20 per, so, 3 or 54, I'd be down, but I don't know if he's going to sign. See, the thing is, we don't keep Sweat here. This is going to be a huge drop-off, but at the same time, like we said before, we need to draft something, so maybe that is edge. Get a cheaper, better edge down the line, but he is super fast. He's played decently enough. Can we up the guarantees? I don't think. The problem is the AI doesn't really like guarantees. It's a real tough balance on how to get contracts to be as good as possible because you fully guarantee a contract, which obviously everyone in the world would want that, and the game's like, nah, I don't know about that. And then, of course, could use a linebacker. I mean, I'm willing to spend a little bit of money here, and Eric Kendricks still being a superstar is tempting me. Devin White, ooh, he's a superstar. Devin White, that is an interesting name. So is Leighton Vander Esch. Let's take a look at their actual ratings, though. So Kendricks is definitely the best out of the three. Screw it, I'm just going to go for the best. I'm just going to get myself a 2-year, 22, 86 overall linebacker who I don't need to pay that much, apparently. All right, there's a couple of contracts here that matter a lot. Oh, Eric Kendricks doesn't sign. Is he back? He's back. Okay, we're building up that defense yet again, even though it really wasn't the fault last offseason. If this is going to get us Eric Kendricks, I'm down. I think we really need Eric Kendricks here. And we get him. All right. New name for the group as well. He is 32, but still playing at an insanely high level. And once again, Superstar should be able to keep him at least, I would say, as an 82-plus overall for one more season, which it's all we really need, as obviously he's got a 2-year 22. Even though in real life I'd probably front-load that anyways. You know, we don't really need the money now regardless. And obviously, I do want to take less risk long-term with an older player, but it's not how it works here. Either way, I like the contract. So we're in the draft. The Cardinals with pick 1 overall. What are they going to grab? Quarterback? Don't know why they would, but pick 29, there's a lot of decent players, but obviously we're kind of future-proofing, so there's no reason, unless someone looks like a can't-miss guaranteed beast, that we would trade up, so we obviously didn't. With this pick, I'm not sure what I want to do. I did scout further a wide receiver, James Brown. It was a lot of C to Fs, and a lot of those Cs turned out to be Fs, or close to, but he is still a decent-looking player. He's pretty athletic, but yeah, I don't think I can make that play. There are also some other guys like Mr., ironically enough, Mike Tyson, who is blazing fast with a 4.2, 4.40. Don't really need a wide receiver just yet, but Diami needs a contract. Curtis Samuel needs a contract, so those two guys would be gone. And Jahan Dotson, I guess, has become the number 2, but a number 3 wouldn't hurt either. You also do have this Carroll guy who looks pretty athletic, 22 years old, 6'4", a different type of wide receiver that this team doesn't have. But I think I'd pass on that as well. O-line, Jack Harris looks decent, but I never take line this high, so I probably won't do that again. McLaughlin looks all right. I think my goal or my aim would probably be Lance Mooney. Don't know the man coverage. Didn't, scout him further, unless that's... Ooh, the safety is there. But basically, corner would be my choice, because we kind of need a new one as Kendall Fuller's getting up there. But Brian Sharpton, especially since he is, I guess, technically a safety as well, would be very interesting, if not Mooney, who I don't know that man coverage, but very athletic at 6'3". The thing is, I think Sharpton is a guaranteed hit in dev. These types of good players are always hit in development trade, so I'm going to take that chance. And I was not wrong. 90 speed, 92 excel is fast enough. 5'10's obviously a little undersized, but this team likes their undersized corners, it seems. So, I mean, I think it's a good pick, I guess. We traded 61 and 125 and Nick Gates to the Raiders for 47, which was fair in the end when you add the totality. I think I'm going to be taking the wide receiver Mike Tyson, who, once again, looks insanely fast and would be the number 3 once Diami and Curtis Samuel are gone. Honestly, maybe get rid of them now if this guy's halfway decent, which... he is hidden, and he's 99 speed. I expected somewhere 97 plus probably, but in general, I think he's absolutely the number 3, which Diami hasn't really worked for us, but in general, he is actually still pretty good, so maybe trade him now for like a high 3rd. And what actually has happened to the Lamar Jackson? I seen Wheels on Twitter post something about it, but what has happened with the Lamar Jackson picture? Unless it's just a different file and we're using the same one. That is strange behavior. The Vikings need a quarterback, and they do not need a wide receiver. Okay, so I guess we trade him to the Dolphins and then keep the wide receiver. Don't know if Howell's worth a 3rd, but if we trade like something with this, it'd probably be worth it. So like a 4th next year maybe. 4th and Howell, they're broke. It sounds like a street landmark. Actually, give me a quarterback back. I'm going to give them a 5th because... Howell's only 23, so a fifth and Howell for a third, and then some random dude that I'll probably end up releasing. And then I trade Diami, Brown, Stromberg, and Mathis for a third-round pick. A pretty big loss when you consider, the group value for their, where they were taken, but recouping something for them as they're just not going to play. Like, there's just no point in keeping them. At least we're getting something back. I could use those 2/3 for potentially some linemen here, which would help us, obviously, down the line. Probably take Metcalf and Malone, if I were to guess, and try to develop them as, well, one of them as a safety, at least. And, man, this guy could be buns, but Mooney's still there. He's so athletic, but I just don't need a corner. I really don't, so I'm going to pass on him, sadly. But with this pick, I suppose Metcalf kind of has the best chance to play tackle out of the bunch, I think. So Lance Metcalf, hidden development trade, 87 strength, 69 speed. Little undersized, but, I mean, he'll be learning. And then pick 9. If the cornerback's still there, I might have to take him. We have pick 29 as well. We can use the trade up for the remaining linemen, assuming he's still there. And Mooney is still there. Speaking of him, I'm going to have to take a look at my corners. I don't think I need one, though. Like, if you look at replacement, right, let's say we lose Kendall Fuller. We still have Forbes, and then we would have Sharpton. So we just don't need him, right? Like, I just don't think we need him. I'd rather have a linebacker, I think. So with that, we're going to be taking Malone, the second best looking lineman, 21 years old, and normal dev. Definitely want to see how that corner looks because, well, we took a normal dev lineman who's probably going to be absolutely nothing for us. And with this pick, I take the only remaining linebacker I have, 21-year-old Alex Williams, who is very athletic, and that's kind of what we know. I guess tackle and pursuit are pretty good, but Alex Williams, hidden development trait. We've got ourselves a future linebacker, whether that's replacing Barton or potentially Kendricks, or technically both. I don't know about this trade, but a 6th next, a 7th this, and Paul for 97. It's probably a little unrealistic. Is there anything else I can add to it? Tight end, like Turner, maybe? Yeah, you could have Cole Turner. That's a little bit closer, although we're getting that 7th next year. It's a little closer, I guess. But regardless, we make, trades where we give up too much, we get too little. So just count this as that kind of equalizer. And besides, we're going to be taking a running back anyway, so I don't know how much that's going to matter. But Tavares Atkinson, who's 21 years old, 6 foot tall, obviously good at power back stuff, with good speed, great excel, and decent, numbers for his pro day. So we're hoping for the best. And he's hidden development trait. I was kind of expecting normal, obviously, but we will take hidden. And depending on how bad Robinson starts the season, we might replace him with Atkinson because, I mean, he's not really playing that well anyways. At least get someone younger that won't need a contract shortly. And here we go. 79 overall for the safety. Wow, he's going to be playing corner, but don't imagine he'll drop much. The wide receiver's great. The guard's great. The center's great, even though he's normal. Even the middle linebacker's decent. 75 for the running back. Don't talk about Nate Allen, all right? Sharpton, 79 overall. 78 man, 74 zone. Obviously, great hit power. Terrible block shed, which you would assume means that he's not a safety. So we'll see. What's his dev? X! Is that a generational then? An X Factor. Well, we now have an X Factor cornerback. I want to start him at number 2. Okay, that's a good pick. I'm going to take a look at the other corner, though, because obviously we could have had him in the 3rd. But there was a good chance I was going to take him over Sharpton. So, yeah, that would be, and a superstar wide receiver. This was kind of like I said, a future-proofing. I'm just going to keep him at number 2, whatever. Future-proofing kind of draft. Instead, we landed like beasts, which is pretty cool. Pretty good pass blocker, actually, in Metcalf. So he will be the new left tackle probably after this season. His dev is star development trade. Obviously, can't win them all, which, I mean, hell, star dev is still winning them all. And then Williams, who will be a future linebacker of some sort, I suppose. Zone coverage is iffy. Block shed's decent. Hit power solid. Let's take a look at him being maybe the left outside linebacker, I think. Star development trade. So not just yet. I think I would if this was supposed to be non-realistic style, but we're going to give Cody Barton another season, but I left out this time. And then Atkinson, who has himself a chance at the starting running back spot. Once again, a prototypical, balanced player. Let's take a look what his dev is. Obviously, if he's higher than star dev, that would be great. And, yeah, it's very uncommon to get that. 42 looks all right for a power back, but Let's go like 33. Why not? And then, like I said, I do want to see that cornerback. Where is he? He must have went in the third, right? There's no way he would have made it past the third round. He was... What the hell was even his name? Mooney. 74 overall, Mooney. He was good. So, like I said, I don't understand why he was falling. I almost took him on top of Sharpton, which it seems like would have been a better choice than our center. He is star dev, but he's a good player, and he's tall and fast. So, yeah, I don't really get that decision, but we had a great draft, so I'm not going to complain about it. So my mic was muted for a little bit. I don't know what you missed, but long story short, this is the offense. Tyson was star dev for Atkinson. Left tackle probably needs to be replaced, but that's why we have Metcalf there. Cosme probably gets a contract, assuming he needs one. Defensively, obviously, Sharpton was an X factor. Williams a star, but Barton's going to start anyways over him, and the team is good. It's just the offense needs to perform, and we should be back where we just were, maybe actually go all the way. So we have 86 mil. Forrest needs a contract. We are obviously going to give him that deal because he has developed into a beast. Jamin Davis is actually asking for a lot of money. I don't know if we can actually afford him. Cosme's asking for a fair bit, and yeah, everything else is fine. So we're pretty set. Kenneth Fuller probably gets replaced because we just don't really have much of a use for him, and he's kind of on his way out. So let's take care of those contracts midway of the season, and we should be good. We should be able to afford everyone. The ultimate choke is among us, but we hold on. 10-7. It was a pretty bad division in general, so thankfully we made it. I think we'd have made it anyways, but big choke job as we lost 3 in a row and almost did worse than that. As you can see, the Eagles choking on their own. Actually, they kind of did well near the end. Cowboys, no forces there. Whereas the Giants didn't force any losses for them. Just a bad division, simply put, and we did enough to make it through, I suppose. Let's take a look at the numbers. Quarterbacking. More touchdowns this season. Interceptions similar. Reedy a little bit less yards, though. Robinson finally cracking 4 yards per carry with 14 touchdowns, 1,136 yards. And Atkinson doing really well as a backup as Gibson wasn't that good. McLaurin was great. Dotson was maybe better. Whitlock, very good again. And then Tyson, he's new but did not play super well. Offensive line-wise, thank God I paid Cosme a 5-year 35. Super worth it. Young with 15.5 sacks. Sweat, not on the list actually there. 11.5 for Allen, 9 for Payne. Paid Sweat, 4.5 only from him. Sweet. Kendricks, 4 interceptions, which we like to see. Kicking, only missed 1, and it was because of a field goal block. Tresway, who's going to be retired pretty much after this season. Very good season from him. Kick return, punt return game, no touchdowns. But I would definitely say with confidence our best season. MVP of the league went to a 5-12 team quarterback. Nice. Good job, EA. You are them. As far as any awards go, we won none. But, like I said, one of our strongest seasons, maybe the strongest. Pretty good. Going against the Seahawks, we're more balanced as well now, and maybe this is the year. I don't know. It's going to be tough to beat last season unless we actually make the Super Bowl. Going to the end of the game, defense makes a stop. We drive for a little bit, get nothing. They get 6. 7-6 now. 14-6. All right, nice turnaround as we're now winning 17-6 at halftime. 24-6. That has got to be the win. That has got to be a GG. Or it's not. 21. There we go. 31-21, and the game is over. Seattle trying their best, but not enough as we are not moving on to the divisional round. Gino's still there, which is kind of cool. Robinson has been playing better this season. Definitely played better. Glad we didn't give up on him just yet. It also doesn't help that, once again, like I said, Atkinson basically is the same as him, but he is younger, so I guess there's something to be said about that. But overall, I was just hoping that we already had our guy because I didn't want to start over at running back. Of course, contract updates. Derek Forrest ended up signing for a 5-year, $72.5, and sadly, so did Mr. Jamin Davis, which is a lot of money for a linebacker who's only an 84 overall, but young, super developable with that athleticism. Look at that short route, though, for Dotson. He's kind of cooking. Divisional round going up against who? The Panthers. Once again, we've already been over how they've become a really formidable team in rebuilds. And Davenport, a superstar X-Factor safety. And the Titans beat the Chiefs. I mean, it's like the Chiefs can't beat anyone after year one. But let's see it. Can we be in the championship back-to-back seasons? Of course, Carolina giving us some tough time here. It's 14-7 already, and our offense is turning the ball over at a high rate. That must be 3 turnovers already. Down by 21 now, and I think that's a GG. 35-17, and defense does its job, but offense is just struggling. 49! We gave up 49 points to the Panthers. Wow. Obviously, the offense gave up some short fields and just threw a lot of interceptions, it seemed, but that defense was awful. 3 interceptions from Reedy, but nearly 500 yards. Come on, defense. Give some help. 3 picks to 1 player. I'm sure of it. And I'm pretty sure we did have a fumble, like I said. It sure as hell felt like a fumble. Forced fumble, yep. They did not recover it, though, apparently, but that's just untrue because we drove all the way down. I guess he did maybe miss a field goal. What an awful performance. Specifically, ironically enough, for the defense. The team, the side of the ball that we thought was set, and it was the offense that needed to cook up. While they didn't really score any touchdowns until late, the offense wasn't doing badly enough to give up 49 points. That's just without a doubt factual. But it will be at least, we could have played against the Titans, dude. I don't know what their team looks like right now, but it can't be that good as they win the Super Bowl. Who even is their quarterback, bro? You know how hard it is to get a team as bad as the Titans to be your Super Bowl opponent when you're an NFC team? Like, it's Levis, who's nowhere near developed. They are better than when they started, but, like, really, guys? How the hell do they have Kincaid? I didn't even see him. They stole, like, half the freaking rookie class. But really? Losing by that much to the Panthers, who are 8-9. All right, dev ups. Reedy and Dotson. Finally, Dotson gets a dev up. But Reedy, how the hell did he get a dev up? This was a decent season, but fair enough. Superstar dev for him. Anyone else on offense? No. Defensively, any dev ups? We had Barton finally go up, but it doesn't really matter because I think he's going to be done after this season. And then Forbes goes to superstar, which is clutch because this is the season we're going to be giving up on Kendall Fuller. I wouldn't say giving up, but going to be moving on from him as we just don't really have a need. Forbes and Sharpton are easily a good enough duo. What do we even draft? Another linebacker, I guess, because Kendrick's only an 82 and Barton's not great, and Williams, I guess, can play for one of them, but linebacker, and that's kind of it, dude. I really don't have much more to draft. This team starts off in certain positions pretty damn set, and you just got to draft the others, which we've kind of already done, so more future-proofing outside of linebacker, which, even that's kind of a future-proofing situation, but is there anyone we can grab that would right now help us? Obviously, Najee Harris would be, kind of at help, but I kind of like Brian Robinson just to finish the job for us, and there's really not much more that would help us, so that's basically that. So I definitely want to take a look at this quarterback. That was not any of the quarterbacks we're looking at right now, but because none of them are quarterbacks. But there was a really solid-looking quarterback. I wonder if he was generational. But as far as what we want, once again, it would be more future-proofing stuff. Austin Duke, I think, would be on my list. He's a 2 to 3. I don't know how long that'll last or how long he'll last with that 2 to 3, projection. But there's really not a whole lot here. Linebacker, there's a couple. So, Stewart looks decent. I think I'm trading down for, even Bush maybe, because we could use edge depth. But I think I'm going to trade down for that one player we were just looking at that I completely forgot about already, Mr. Duke. Although Randolph looks just as good, so he's not as strong. Is Duke younger at least? If he's 21, he's 22. So, I guess Randolph's better, so I'll go for Randolph. So, do we even need a safety? Probably not. I guess let's just trade to the late second. Or should I just get a first round next year? The Bills are going to give me some juice for that pick. That is not bad. No other team's even close to a first and a second. I'm going to take it. We really don't need anyone right now. Might as well have extra picks for when, maybe something unforeseen happens. At 26, we can still land some talent. We're going to trade to the Patriots, get 69 and 101, which, it's a good, 9 spots, so fair enough, actually. I first thought kind of like we were scamming them, which you can still maybe make that argument, but not really as much as I thought initially. Randolph's my guy just for the future-proofing. Brian Randolph, and not great. Normal development trait, but we'll see if he's any good. We're trading Malone and 122 to the Lions for 71, and we'll probably end up making one more trade up once we're down to just one lineman remaining, because there's obviously 2 that look pretty similar. Obviously, I would say that Holloway looks a little bit better than Morton or Hendricks, but not so much better that I just wouldn't, that I'd make the trade up over. I guess kind of, but that run block is just so bad that it kind of negates how good he is. But with this pick, we're going to be taking Kyle Whitaker, who is obviously very athletic. He is 22. He's also very normal dev, so who lives in a pineapple? Just a bad draft, but obviously we did trade down for a solid pick next year. and I did see Hendricks go, which is a little surprising to see him go before the others. And for some reason, both of the linemen went before Holloway, so I guess I'm trading up for the guy that I probably would have taken over all three of them. Kind of curious to see what the other guys look like now, just because that's pretty absurd, actually. But let's make the trade, and I would say call it a draft, but not quite there yet. We're moving up 10 spots, so I think that's a fair trade. Ooh, very close. Would that be enough? That'd be kind of crazy if that slight change in 7th round did it. It will not, so... a 5th? I'd rather just keep that freaking 7th this then. You know what? I'd rather just give up the 7th this instead of next year anyways, even though we could probably gotten next year, which is technically less value, but I don't care enough. I don't care enough, and I'd have 2 7ths this year, so let's make that trade up, grab this guy who we don't really need, and then move to the 4th round. Vernon Holloway and hidden development trade. Been on a streak of normals, so glad to see somebody still hidden in this class. And the other linebacker is normal, so I'm going to take James Austin, who's also normal. Yeah, I was kind of hoping that, we would get saved by that. Didn't happen. 7th round pick. Here we come. This really isn't going to be a pretty sight, but I guess we'll take a quick look. That DT seems like a waste. Linebacker's not bad. Guard's definitely not bad, especially since he's hidden. And then the other linebackers, was there anyone else? So we had a choice at the other DT, right? We took Randolph, but we could have taken the other DT, but we decided not to go for him. Duke was the guy, 72 overall, was hidden. 79 finesse actually is pretty good. Let's take a look at what that dev is. It's not higher than star. We don't really care too much, though, and it is only star. I don't really care too much about the line. I don't think there's really much point to look. It is what it is. I guess I want to take a look at the tight end Hess, because I was going to take him over that linebacker we took. Didn't, though. And I'm curious to see if he was halfway decent or not. 67 overall tells me not so much, but 6'6", decently fast, potential, but obviously I don't really care. That was just a draft class that kind of sucked, but we got a 1st and a 2nd next year for what would be the final draft, which we could use even now if we wanted to for a proven player. That's obviously still on the board, so if there's a position we see that we could use like a proven player at, we could make that play, but I don't really think there is one right now. Like linebacker, maybe I might take a look at linebacker because even Kendrick's kind of on a lower overall. Maybe put him in outside. If not a linebacker, though, I think we're just going to keep it and roll with what we got. So we end up trading a 2nd round this year, a 4th round next year, and Braden Daniels for an 87 overall Aluakun. He is 30 years old, so that is a bit of a drop, but I think that's in the general vicinity of where I would probably rate him. They already have Muma sitting there as a backup, and I'm also going to trade him DeBose for a 5th round pick to try and recoup some of the, to be honest, overpayment that we had to make for Aluakun. Once again, 30 years old, that superstar is not the best, but let's trade him off, and I'm happy with where we're at. It's cross-conference as well, so they don't probably care too much how good we play, but Aluakun's block shed / finesse or zone coverage isn't that great anyways. Realistically, you look at those 2 ratings, he's probably not even better than Barton, but he does have that athleticism and the smarts on him. I'm also going to try to trade off Cody Barton. I don't know what he would be value-wise, but I don't want him anymore after this season, and he needs a contract, so might as well try to get something off of him. Let's get a DT for depth on Sebastian Joseph Day. Not really a win for us, but what can you do? I don't wonder why he's freaking valued that high. He's superstar dev. I mean, it doesn't really matter because he's really not good, but sure, superstar dev backup. Why not? He's technically the 3, kind of the 4. Doesn't really matter. Season 4, super disappointing last season as, we kind of got smoked by a team that just should never have had a chance. Tackles are kind of the weak point of this offensive line, but, they're still good. And then defensively, there's really no weak point of the team other than maybe linebacker, but we've improved that a little bit with Aluakun. And Williams is once again being wasted, so he might even get traded next offseason because I'm just absolutely wasting him trying to use these veterans to put us over the edge because, we're there. We're there. We need to just win. 129 mil, somebody needs a contract, surely. We also got Logan Thomas back. McLaurin, obviously we pay that. Allen, we pay that. Sebastian Joseph and Day, we don't pay that. Robinson, we pay that. Dotson, we pay that. Harrison Butker, we probably pay that. And a lot of the other guys are backups. So we're cooking. We have money. We don't even really have to pay that much out. We're good to go. Let's Let's pair our boy here 5 for 155, which is a lot, but he is him. He's a great receiver, obviously. Super fun to watch. Allen, that is a 2-year deal at least. If he says he's not happy, I'll cry. Thank you. Maybe could have done 3 if I really wanted to, if I wanted to get crazy. And then, yeah, Dotson will be a guarantee. And then Robinson, I don't know how much it's going to cost to get him, but, I mean, he's a good player, so even if it's backup, he's asking right now for backup level money anyways, so where the hell did he go? I lost him. He's gone. He just slipped away. Am I blind? Or was he not even on the list? Was I thinking of Rodriguez? Winner of this one not only wins the division, but maybe even a bye week. And yay, it's not us. Take a look at that playoff bracket, see if they actually were the number 1 seed. And they were, so that was a crazy one. Lot on the line, and of course we lost. We choked hard, they choked hard. They were like 7-0 at one point, and we were like 10-1. And we lost like a bunch of games. Nice little turnaround, I suppose, but really bad. Like I said, look at them. They had a bunch of losses, and then they just finished out super strong. Stole the bye week and the division. Gotta love it. Way to go, guys. Let's take a look at the numbers, though. See how we performed. Reedy with his best season yet. Interception is a little high, but in general, the scoring was really high. Robinson, great stuff. He ended up getting a 4-year 28. McLaurin was great. Tyson had the best of his seasons. Dotson was solid, and Whitlock was 1 yard away from 1,000. How odd is that? I mean, what are the odds of that? Metcalf was decent. Cosme much better than last season. Chase Young was great. Payne was solid. Sweat was solid. Allen was solid. They're all really good. This is our best season. Definitely our best season. Let's see. I mean, even the kicking and punting was great. So, is this going to be our year? Probably not, as MVP goes to another well under 500 team. What the hell am I doing here? Any award wins? Probably not, right? And none to be seen, unless kicker was on there, but who gives a damn anyways. Going up against the Bears, I mean, if this isn't a guaranteed win, I mean, I'm going to go into year 5 with, like, the lowest amount of confidence ever. Like, this should be the biggest guarantee that you could possibly have in the playoffs. 7-7, 14-7. Defense is not playing that well, but offense is looking pretty damn good. 28-7 now, 28-14, 31-14 at half, 38-14. I mean, this should be a GG. Moving on to the next game already. It feels kind of bad. You know, the Bears, you know, their fans like, hey, you never know, we could win. And then we just smoke them 48-30. Division round, is it going to be against the Giants already? I didn't actually pay attention to our seed. I just looked at theirs when we seen it. Very good for Reedy. Rushing was not great. Receiving was obviously good because, well, Reedy was good. Sack totals, the 2 DTs. Interception for Davis. And kicking was perfect. Pretty clean game, to be honest. And if the rumors of 90-plus overall running backs being really good is true, well, Robinson is one of them. The divisional round, is it the Giants? It is the Cardinals. Who did they beat? Didn't they just have the number 1 overall pick? They beat Dallas 24-3. Okay, so I can live with the amount of points they scored, but the amount of points they limited Dallas to is a bit scary, gonna be honest. 93-86. We'll see. Arizona scoring a 7 out the gate. They've already gotten 10 points, and the game just started. 17-0. This Cardinals team is cooking. 17-7. Already scored more than Dallas, but not by much. 14-7, 24-14, 24-21. We have the lead by 4. Defense holding up. Now up by 7. And with that touchdown, the defense clutching up, we are headed to the championship round. Didn't see who it was against. I did see the Ravens beat the Texans, but that's obviously on the other side anyways. Reedy's been killing it. Robinson, not great. McLaurin was very good. Dotson was good again. Sack totals, I mean, were just non-existent apparently. Kicking, solid yet again. Harrison Butker got a 2-year 8.6 for this exact reason. Cooking up. We got ourselves a real legit kicker, it seems. Who is it going to be against? The Saints. Interesting. I think they're the highest overall, actually. I don't know what that voice was either. Saints. Julian Love, the X Factor. Baltimore is in the big game. 7-0 to start. Defense is really just struggling early in these games. 10-10. After the turnover, 17-10, 17-17. Huge drive, but no score. We get picked off again, it seems, or some sort of turnover early on. 31-24, though, overcoming that all. And just like last game, 38-24, but we're holding on with a 45-31 victory over the Saints to make the Super Bowl for the first time. Tua on the Saints. Reedy, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. What are the chances we had to face this team to get to the Super Bowl when we were probably supposed to do a Saints rebuild instead of a Washington one? Whoops. Murray, 2 interceptions, and that be it. I feel like Jamin Davis has been an 87 overall for ages now, but let's see what this upgrade is. Man coverage, zone coverage. He's pretty raw still, but he is also still pretty young, so if we would have just got a damn superstar dev up, we'd have been really cooking. But let's take a look at the Super Bowl. I kind of want to see who was in that conference battle for their side. Actually, no, we've seen it already, didn't we? It was, who the hell was it? It was the Denver Broncos, 38-28. How did the game end? Let's see it. A lot of rushing, of course. Shaquille Galloway, cool name, Cam Akers. So the Ravens are like, screw it, we're just going to take everyone's free agents. Why not? We were like, let's be chill, not take Akers because it wouldn't be fair. They're like, gimme. Any dev-ups on offense? Maybe the tight end. I mean, there's a lot of yards, but not really. Yeah, nothing on offense, sadly. Even Reedy, who had a pretty good year. And then defensively, would have looked like Jamin Davis, we were just talking about, finally gets to superstar, but no one else went up in dev, which I guess, fair enough. No outsiders, which not really a pass rusher, so I'm not sure how that's going to work. But the Ravens, Super Bowl, could have had a Super Bowl winning year 2. Last season looked pretty good. This one is our best one yet, but also the Ravens are the toughest opponent yet as an 89 overall. Going to the end of the game, left to right is us. We got the first score! Who would have thought? 7-3, 7-10. We're up by 3. Now it's all tied up. They're now up by 3, or up by 7 before half. We get a nice drive, but it's only for 3. Now down by 7, tied up at 20 all. Ravens are not going away. We're down by 7. We're constantly down in this game, which is worrisome. This drive could put them on top. 4th and 7. They're going to have to punt it. They're moving. Are we going to run out of time? We don't. And Washington clutches up. Down the entire game pretty much, especially in that second half, constantly chasing, and finally getting the lead, winning the Super Bowl. And Washington has done it with their first overall pick that a lot of people would have called a bust and a bad decision, who ended up becoming a pretty damn good quarterback and the future of the franchise. Look at him go. Super Bowl champion, put up some very massive numbers. A little bit iffy here and there, but overall the yards and touchdowns in like pretty much every playoff game that he's played in, not just this season, have been very high. So he's putting up high volume, and he's slinging it. He's a slinger. I'm really curious to see what his ratings are. Obviously that medium's probably still pretty bad, but not bad. I know the numbers and all that. Who cares, dude? I really don't care. It is what it is. The Baltimore Ravens were no match for the Commanders, and we have won the Super Bowl. Not a bad little rebuild. Even year 1 wasn't. Yeah, actually, we were the worst team in the entire league, weren't we? I guess it was pretty bad. But the last 2, maybe 3 seasons, not bad, I suppose. Let's start with the big gun himself, Mr. Tevin Reedy, with, very, very bad medium. Play action's not great, but other than that, he is really good. His throw power got to 97. His short and deep are solid. His pressure, throw on the run, break sack, all great. Awareness, a little low, but he's pretty good. Never got a speed upgrade, which is a little bit of an L, but who honestly cares? I don't remember if we actually looked at Robinson. I know we just recently looked at an upgrade, but 90 speed, 91 excel, 93 truck, 89 stiff arm. I mean, he's a bruiser. Terry McLaurin has got to be like 99, literally everything, right? Not even close, really? Little surprised by that, to be honest. I mean, probably a bunch of upgrades. He had pretty good seasons for us. Jahan Dotson, the 90 overall as well. This is a really good offense, and it finally showed up in the playoffs. Short route kind of sucks, but he's obviously a super threat, especially deep threat. Anyone else? I guess Tyson, even though he's new, he's already an 85 overall. Mr. Mike Tyson, what a name. Pretty good at catching for, he's kind of mid with that, but super deep threat pretty much. Tight end, haven't really seen him since we drafted him. Was a bit of a raw player, but he looks pretty good. Route running solid, his catching's good enough. Didn't go up speed or excel, which is a little surprising, but it's how these things go. Offensive line, I don't really care too much, but I guess I'll take a quick look. Power blocking sucks, but he's amazing at pass blocking. Maybe even slide him over to freaking tackle. But tackles actually played pretty well. And then Keen, another guy with no power, because, it's whatever the highest is, and Been finding a lot of those pass blocking, no run blocking type guys, mainly finesse and fairness, but yeah, it's a lot of the type of guys you've been finding. Samuel Cosme, I guess. Let's take a look. Pass block power, not great. Pass block in general, not great, but some pretty good finesse blocking grades. What else do we have? Defense. Very good in the linebacker category after that trade for Aluakon, who, I mean, I guess I would have to say kind of put us over the edge, pushed us over the edge. We didn't win a Super Bowl without him, and that was kind of our big need. Cameron Curl, I have no idea what that zone coverage looks like. Not bad, actually. 86 zone in the end, and I don't think he ever got a breakout or a camp standout, so Forrest had a +5 to zone, so he obviously is going to have a really good zone. 92 zone, insanely athletic superstar, 5 years, 72.5, so he's here for many more seasons. What about Emmanuel Forbes? Only an 86 overall, but really good at man. 89 man, decent athleticism. Still a little raw, but obviously super young. And then obviously Sharpton. Well, I guess we're looking at Chase Young because it glitched over. Chase Young, really good as well. Super athlete. I mean, that's just put my freaking cornerback almost. Let's take a look at Sharpton, the X Factor, who's already an 88 overall. He's only 22. That was a shock pick. I knew he was going to be decent, but it's not common that you find, like, X Factor safeties. Usually they're star dev, even if they are 78, 79 overall. But he absolutely was not. Montez Sweat, who was up and down, finally had a really good season here. Good enough. And then, obviously, the last two guys, Deron Payne, who got that huge deal in real life. Looking pretty average, actually. Pretty bad ratings, but he was actually decent in this one. And then Jonathan Allen, who was actually worse than I thought he was going to be in this one. I mean, look at those ratings. He should have been putting up 15 per season, but actually struggled at times to get double digits. But that is going to be the realistic style rebuild of the Washington Commanders. Someone probably just chuckled after I just said realistic style. They're like, what do you mean? Trade number 17 in year 2. It's like, okay, dude, relax. But that's going to be it. If you guys enjoyed this one, maybe leave a like, subscribe if you're new. If you're not new, really appreciate your continued support on the channel, especially this late into the Madden cycle. Let me know what team you want to see next. Like I said, I think it's going to be Saints next, but you never know, especially with the Hopkins, potential signing. I actually haven't looked at social media in like 5 hours today, so it might have already happened, and this rebuild should not have existed, or maybe it won't, because maybe it'll get pushed forward or later pushed back when I do the Hopkins. I don't know, but yeah, obviously when the Hopkins trade or signing, I suppose, happens, that'll probably be the hot team, if you will. Hopefully it's not the Commanders, because I just did this one. I'd be so mad. But yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys come back for next video. But until next video, check out the second channel PK plays tomorrow for Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Maybe subscribe if you're new over there. See ya!